that there is clearly a changing mindset as a result of this pandemic. Just to share with you a little bit about what we're going through is, did you guys know many of the court systems are going to be closed in September? So there's a new thing, and we are now doing a Zoom on a regular basis with the courts, and so we are trying to train people and our own staff and litigants, and it's just such a new day. And so what I learn about it every day is we have a meeting every day at noon, and guess what? Every day we learn something new because something is different because they changed it from the night before. And it's so frustrating. So we create forms on Monday. By Tuesday, those forms are obsolete, and it's very troubling. And so we're all going through it. We're all suffering and doing it together. And we're adapting to this changing mindset. But one of the things that we wanted to talk about, and to get ideas from all of you, because this is a participatory function, is to say, how can we come together almost as a community table? Because I'm a believer that it takes all of us to support our local community in order to make it successful. And if we don't support, and if we don't find new ways, we're all going to fail. But at the same time, not everybody's in the same economic condition they were in 3 months ago. And as a result of it, that community give back can be structured differently, and it has to be done in new creative ways. And that's what I wanted to talk about, because we can all give back, and we can all utilize our talents, and utilize what we have, and we can utilize things that we can do for free that share and support each other. So, you know, if you were in a restaurant business, and we're going to talk about where everybody is at, but if you were in a restaurant business, think about it. You might want to start remote date nights. I got some other ideas. You might want to have those remote healthy meals. You might want to do a remote keto diet that everybody could pick up or have delivered. And you're going to have to figure out how you're going to accomplish it. Well, I don't know about you, but we can't provide just the same services we did before. We have to combine service with goods. And if you provide goods, you've got to bump up your service or you're going to lose, because we have a paradigm change that is, I think, permanent. So teaming up and collaboration to bring us back to a new reality, or to get us to that new reality, is what I wanted to talk about today. I don't know about you, but price points changed. Cost of sales have changed. The volumes of customers have changed. We have to have a higher reach of branding. And I first wanted to talk about some new ideas for marketing. I get that we're here to talk about the community table and how we're going to come together, but I felt that it would be irresponsible of us not to consider some of those marketing things that we're all going to have to do. And let me preface this by telling you, when I give out a marketing idea today, and when we're going to hear from all of you about what ideas you have for marketing, it is part of the community table for us to market each other. We're all here together. Most of you I know, most of you we have come together. We do different industries, we support each other, we might have referrals back and forth. And if I don't know you that well, I certainly want to get to know you better. But our typical advertising that we did in January and February, I don't know about you guys, but I think it's out the door. The local paper isn't here anymore. We had a contract with them. Everything is different. And it's important that we come with an acknowledgement of something today. And I wanted to also talk about this in community engagement. I think it's important to gauge the behaviors of our demographics. So we do divorce. So guess what? They had a fight last night. They want to get a divorce tomorrow. 5 days later, oops, changed my mind. My spouse is no longer working. My economic situation has changed. I no longer want to proceed. And yeah, maybe I'm in the domestic violence situation, but I'm going to hang out here for a while. And that audience is much different than it was before. So gauging the behaviors of your demographics, I think, is important. I also think it's important that we all as a community recognize that we're in a new day, where before it may have been that we were doing a commodity that might have been a luxury for someone, but today it's no longer a luxury, it becomes a necessity for many of our audience participants and many of the people that we've reached out. there's a new necessity that they have in their life. So we need to change our marketing and our community engagement to needs versus wants. We also have to change in the sense of adapting to this digital age, which we're all doing a good job of. Every time I get on a new chamber event, I'm proud of seeing new people, new backgrounds. I'm always intrigued by the whole concept. And when we're digital is the way to go, we also have to say that people are confined to some extent. Some people will continue to be confined. Some people are going to flood into that outdoor restaurant in Orland Park, right? They're going to go quickly. But then all of a sudden, we're all going to come back to that sense of reality of where are we today, where were we, and where are we going? So that new demographic has to be acknowledged. So we wanted to talk about starting from a marketing perspective and engagement through the new emotional content of where people are. Some people are eager to get out. Some people are scared to death. Some people lost loved ones. Some people think this is a hoax, right? Let's all face it. There's those non-believers, there's the believers, and this is not political today. I'm just trying to lay it out there as to where we are. And we have to carry out those practices when the air clears, meaning that we have to acknowledge people in a new way and accept them where it is that they are. There's not a catalog, there's not a booklet for this of what you should be doing. We have to come together as a community, we have to think differently, and we have to expand our offerings. And one of the things I wanted to talk about today is how can the chambers become a catalyst, and I use that word seriously. If you're going to be a catalyst for that change, how are you going to help us all service that community in a new way? So not to call somebody out, but the fresh air expert today, I want you at my office because I've decided I want to have fresh air there because I think that's a good concept for my staff and for other individuals. I also see Anna McKenna and I want to know for my unemployed clientele, what are they going to do to get insurance today? And I could call each and every one of you out. And how is it that the chambers, and I want to hear from all of you, how can you bring us together in a different way? So I think of Mokina, for example, putting various groups together that we can join and see how you can support local individuals, but it has to be more than that. I think that this is a time for a new way of thinking. So here we are. Some of us are not in the same financial perspective we were before. So how can we work collaboratively? So let's just think outside of the box for a minute. My friend Bob from Nothing But Cakes isn't here. And my friend SK, and if all of you know, we all often group up together and put our tables next to each other. And I have to tell you, I was thinking at night, maybe I ought to give some clients some bundt cakes because maybe that'll make them feel a little happy instead of being so blue about their divorce. And maybe if they're so darn stressed, I should send them to a massage over at SK's, right? So it gives you an idea of 3 totally different businesses coming together and maybe partnering to offer a new slew of services. Maybe if you're in the food industry, right, and you sell breakfast, maybe you want to have a dessert go with it, or if you serve a family meal, how can we come together? Because I think that we have to say, it's that partnership out there. It's not just me alone. I'm not on an island. I'm in a community of people that I service. So how can we come together to serve it in a different way? I think about, the drone pictures, which I want to have at my next party. And then I think about Kim in real estate. And I'm thinking to myself, how can we now service together and look at this differently? So 1, we can support each other in a new way, or 2, we can turn around and say, let's creatively take our network of people and provide a new service option. Do you see where I'm coming from? I think it's time for us to come together rather than coming apart. So you may say, but I'm not in that situation today. I can't do that. Well, look at all the people that are out there donating a service or a hobby. Maybe their funds aren't feasible today, but they're out making masks. They might be assembling crafts for businesses to distribute. Some of them are making different items. I know for the Bridge Teen Center, of which I'm on the board, to service teens in a new way. Do you see where I'm coming from? We're creating and taking what it was that we had that maybe we didn't have time to do before, but we can give back in that sense. So you can support your local community for little to no cost by simply engaging in what your skill level is. I have absolutely no skills whatsoever in any kind of maintenance of a building. Let's all face it, horrible. Wouldn't know what to do. But I know that I've got local people in the community and I want to have a new drop box put in at my office. So I'm going to reach out to that person and I'm going to say, what can we give back to you? Can we do a presentation to your staff? Can we do something to facilitate you? Again, maybe we didn't exchange money, but we gave the most valuable asset we have. And if any of you know me, it is your time. It is not your money. That is your most valuable asset. So consider that as one structure. Maybe you're going to support or you're going to actually go over and volunteer at a not-for-profit organization and you haven't done that before, but you get the joy of knowing the community and you're able to promote that not-for-profit in a new way. I think the third way we come together as a community is facing the reality of those who have been sick, those who are immune compromised, and those who have family members that are that way. I don't know about you, but I'll leave a business if I pull up and guess what? The younger folks working there aren't being managed. They're supposed to have masks on and those masks are halfway off. It turns me off. I can't tell you the number of places, and I get up there and I do a survey first. I am an individual supporting those businesses today that are worried about my loved ones. And I got to tell you, I think that the rest of the community feels the same way. So if you're walking in and there's not a mask, you're not wearing gloves, you're not doing any kind of protective measures, leave, because we all as a community have to acknowledge whether we think it's legitimate or not. And again, this isn't political. There are those people that are truly at risk. On the flip side, there are those people whose businesses are almost at a loss and they're considering shutting down, and we need to support them just as much. But there has to be an equal balance of two. We can't say we're just going to go out and form in a boundary and just go out and act like nothing ever happened. We also can't say we're going to stay at home and never go out again. We have to find a way that as a community we can service and we can come together to deal with that reality, to understand the fears of others and how the actions that you take as a business or as an individual to assure your customers or your clientele that they're going to want to be there. Because at the end of the day, it's a trickle-down effect. If you put yourself out there and you do good for other members of the community, that favor is going to come back to you. If you know me, I am a believer, and I think I've said it in these group settings before, that if you give, you're going to get back 7 times what you give. That is my operating life principle. And we have to find a way to do that. And it may not be through monetary ways that we can do it at this time. So I call that the trickle-down effect. In addition to that, I'm saying that we have to be compassionate because people are suffering, some economically, some from their health, some are suffering professionally. Some of them can't get into their profession. And the long-term ramifications of this are, again, in my humble opinion, a paradigm shift. But we are the community, and we are the community table. So I want to give you another illustration. Maybe you have a skill that you can give and you can donate. Maybe you can volunteer at a not-for-profit. Maybe you can give money, maybe you can't. And that's not a criticism. That's just the reality of where we are. But we can also do something I think that's very important. And I think our chambers are doing it. They're sharing information that we need to get our businesses restarted. And they're sharing information about each other and each of us. So I get that we all have a platform and we might have our business name out there. We're Sterk Family Law on Facebook. We post every day on the virus. We do interviews, etc. And I can't just post something from your business. But what I can do is share what's on your business on my personal page. Think about that for a minute. Some of you might not like this and you might be offended by it. But for the first time, I want to leave today and find out your business, and I want to get that to my people, and I want you to get my stuff to your people, because that is the only way we can come back as a community and be the local entity that we are. So if we're proactive, and if we put content, and if we put resources out there that might not be directly relevant to you, you can add value to our local community. If you think about it from a different perspective, maybe you know someone, or you know of someone and another business that should connect. You know, I'm a believer in resources. You guys all know that. So we connect two people together. Maybe we make a mutual introduction, right? So Kelly will often send, I think that this contact would be good for you. It doesn't cost us anything, right? All we're doing is putting out there a new connection to say, I think you should get to know X person, and I think you would benefit Y. And maybe I'm unrelated to it, but I'm giving you a new way of coming together as a community. Look at what some of our kind people have done in our restaurant industry. They're feeding the nurses, the emergency rooms. They're going out there, the first responders of any kind, and they're putting themselves out there and doing what they can. But we all have a role to play to come together as a community. So we want to suggest that. We're asking today, how can we be creative? What content do you have that maybe is a platform we want to share with our clientele or personally? How can we do a photo campaign? How can we come together? What are your ideas of saying, in New Lenox, we've got 10 people here. In Orland, we have 20 people here. And in Mokina, we have another 15 people. And we can share all that information at once. And we can service our local businesses. At the end of the day, who are we? We are the south side of the city. We are businesses. I know most of you here, we're the local small business. We are the heartbeat of America. And if there's one thing that we can come out of this with, is a new allegiance that we can say, I support my fellow workers, I support my fellow small businesses, and here's how it is that I can do it. Might not have $2,500 to do a big donation at this time. And if you talk to our not-for-profits, whether they be the domestic violence shelters, the youth places, look at the churches, we could go through so many different organizations, and they're all hurting at different levels. But it doesn't take money. Money's great, let me just say that. But it doesn't take money to build the community network. It takes all of us. So what we're asking or trying to offer today is a different way that we can view this pandemic, that we can say, yeah, we've been through it, we lived through it, I'm a survivor, I can't wait. Remember the snowstorm of '79? Come on, if you're in my age group. We all wore, I don't know about you, but I had that t-shirt, I wore it as an emblem. I survived. That's what I'm saying, is we're surviving another era. We're surviving a new time. It's a new paradigm. It's a new way to work. It's a new way to support each other. And my question to all of you is, how is it that you see the future? How is it that you have ideas? Because we want to learn from you as much as we want to share anything that we have with all of you. So with that in mind, I want to start with Ron today. Because Ron, I know you do a lot of good work out there. Tell us, how is it that you think we can come together?
I think one of the things that we need to look at is just what you were saying, Gwen, is, you know, I occasionally look for opportunities, and I've done this in the past couple of years where I've gone out into the community and just done a public service project. Like last year, the Mokina Boroughs actually approached me and said, "We'd like you to do a project, come out and film us." And I said, "Okay." And they said, "How much do you want for it?" I said, "Nothing." Because basically I was looking for one or two outreach projects every year for my company. And I think that's what everybody needs to do, is look for those outreach projects that they can do with their company and just say, okay, again, I'm donating my time, I'm donating my resources for a community project that's been going on. You know, the Mokina Burrows obviously is something that benefits the whole community.
That's right.
Yes, I got some, I got some press because yes, Angle Drone Solutions is out here, but that wasn't the point. The point was I did something for them for free rather than charging them, and they had simply approached me. So that's one of the things that I think about when I hear what you're talking about.
I think that's a great idea, and I think that that's a way that we can all come together. Scott, what do you have to say? Can you share with us some ideas you have? Because we're learning today from each other. I think you're muted, Scott.
There we go. One of the things working on is actually happening tonight. 3 of my clients are in the same industry, and we're all getting together. And I do IT for them, IT work, but they own restaurants and event centers. And we're starting tonight at Dancing Marlin, and we're going to review Ed Nevick's plans for how he's going to open up his outdoor cafe. Then we're going over to Enrico's to see Harry and doing the same thing. Then we're going to end up at CD and Me, which is going to be very difficult. One of my biggest clients, but obviously they do 1,000 people when they do their Thursday night concerts, 1,000 to 1,500 people. They're not going to be open until October, maybe November, maybe not even this year.
Right.
So the challenge was, when we got together last week to brainstorm this, and again, these are competitors. They're not really competitors, but they actually, Enrico's and Dancing Marlin are right across the street from each other. But how can we help each other?
Right. What a creative way to come together. And you've got competitors there now sharing in the community. I think that's great. I think these are 2 really good ideas of how we can come together. And, there's things that are important here. So
they're sharing vendors now too. They're sharing vendors now. They're actually sharing vendors now amongst themselves, like food suppliers, because there's shortage of meat. Both Harry and Ed are exchanging food vendors, packaging companies, mask companies. So it's, putting your competitors in the same, they're in the same scenario. How can they help each other? They have information that might benefit each other, but they're all in the same boat.
It's a very good idea. Really good. So Felicitas, tell us a little bit about what Orland Park Chamber is doing and how you guys are moving forward.
Sure. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Felicitas from the Orland Park Chamber of Commerce, and it's been a long 10 weeks, let me tell you. But one thing I have to say after this time is that the Orland Chamber has really changed the way we've done business. We've always been known as an events chamber, ribbon cutting chamber, a networking chamber, and I think we've come out of this to be stronger in a different position. We're a catalyst and a convener for change. We're bringing businesses together to help one another. For example, at 3 o'clock when Pritzker announced that outdoor dining was going to be the thing until phase 3, we immediately sent out information to our restaurant members and connecting them for a tent supplier, furniture supplier, anything else that they may need, because we wanted them to be up and running and have as much time as they could to properly plan. I want to say that I think chambers as a whole has also changed the way that they've done business. The Orland Chamber, along with Mokina, New Lenox, and Tinley, and Frankfurt, and Lockport have really worked closely together. Competition aside, we've come together to share ideas, share resources, share staff time to make sure that we all come out of this successfully. And I think because of that, this new attitude that we all have now, we will come out as leaders in our community and advocates of small businesses. So no longer the ribbon cutting chambers of the past, but we really are now stepping stronger as a trusted resource and advocate for our members. So, thanks COVID for that.
Right. There's always a positive. Hey, Matthew, tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
My suggestion would be to look at the elderly and the less advantaged, and those are the folks that we need to stay in contact with on a regular basis. There must be a way to not only, touch base with the elderly care facilities, but also to find residents who are in need of services, such as, grocery shopping or having someone stop by and pick something up for them so they don't have to pay, for an Uber Eats or a Groupon, just someone to step up as a semi-family member to assist them with perhaps projects around the house, whatever your talents might be, get food, those are the types of things. But I think in my opinion, finding out who the elderly people are, where they live, and the less advantaged, the disadvantaged people, finding out who they are, where they live, and finding a way to communicate with them and offer a hand. And I think that goes leaps and bounds as far as an assisted hand from the Chamber of Commerce and the community to the people that live there.
I think that's a wonderful idea, and I want to be the charge here. So you just inspired me, Matthew. I really want to come out. We're doing a presentation on how elder care is changing, and I'm going to ask the chambers if you can give us a way with the facilities in your area, and maybe we ought to do a letter writing campaign. Think of just a card, passing something very simple that we all can do, and have everybody in our business write a card, and before you know it, we can go down the street and drop off something of inspiration to those individuals. Think about them if they're in a home or whatever. They haven't been out in months, and some of them are confined to a room. Their health, their safety, I get that that's what it had to be, but they're not seeing their families or anything else. So I want to embrace that challenge today, and I really appreciate that, Matthew. I think that's a very simple thing. Not that everybody else's ideas weren't great, but all of us chamber members can sign a card. For crying out loud, we can at least do that, right?
Yeah.
So I want to be the catalyst for that. So anything we can do to help with that, we'll do the designing, right, Kelly? Our graphics department will take that on, and we want to get a chain going and get cards out to the elderly. So thank you for that. Kim, tell us a little bit about what you're experiencing. I'm sorry?
Hey, Gwen, here's an idea. Ray Rita has a company called Send Out Cards.
That's true, right.
Yeah, I was just talking to Ray.
Yeah. And so we could get together with them and talk about something fun and inspirational. That's great. That's an idea.
So,
perfect. Okay. Anybody else have an idea on that? All right. Kim, tell us a little bit about what you're thinking and how we can come together.
Well, we at Keller Williams have been able to office at home like many of us normally do. We've been doing our office meetings on Zoom and doing even some of our classes and stuff on Zoom. So most of our day-to-day stuff has been pretty normal. The unfortunate thing for us this year, our Keller Williams Red Day, which is a nationwide charitable event that we normally go into the community and do something, we ended up just doing a can drive. So we had a truck at the office where people could come safely, individually, and to do that. But, in my real estate world, I've had a lot of people just having a hard time with selling their homes, moving at this time, finding services were either not available or slowed down. Closings were kind of crazy at the end of March. But, personally, I've just been at houses, packing, moving, staging, doing, everything I can just to make things as smooth as possible for my clients while some of the services and things have not been available. So it's really just been kind of helping your fellow neighbor and taking it day by day. But so far, everything has been going pretty well.
That's great. So that's another idea. We bring a can in. Maybe we take all our chamber members and we walk out of this program today and say, we're going to have everybody from the chamber bring 5 cans of food and a card and get to the elderly and get to the people that need it. Christy, tell us a little bit about what you're experiencing.
Hi, everybody. I'm Christy Winder. Thanks for setting this all up, because these have been some really great ideas. I'm definitely thinking that I can get some of our clinics together. So we provide ABA therapy to children with autism. And I'm thinking some of that artwork might go well with some of those cards to the elderly, just some cute little things from kiddos.
Really cool. Yeah.
Over too. I think that might be a nice little addition to the cards. On top of that, we are also trying to put together a food drive, but we're making it a little more convenient for the community, where we're doing porch pickup. So if they just sign up and say that they'll put it out on their porch, we're using our own staff to go around and pick it up off the porches and delivering it to some of the pantries in our local areas. So we're working on something like that. And then just to help some of the families get out and about and feel like they get to do like a fun, different activity, we're going to try to design some fun like games and things like that in our parking lots with chalk. So like maybe like a chutes and ladder where they can, you know, do it. They're actually on the game board with their own little bodies, and then some fun drawings and things like that that you could take pictures with, just to help people get out and feel like they can go and do something fun. But that's
you do that in a parking lot in a large area. I'll show up with a drone.
awesome. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we got the kids out, we got food, we got the elders taken, we got the send out cards. This is great. So we're going to come out of this with a plan. So really cool. Thanks, Ron, for that. Very cool. Anything else you wanted to add, or?
At this point, I'm just taking notes on everybody's awesome ideas and seeing how I can build on it. So thank you so much for sharing your great ideas.
That's perfect. So tell us, let's get to the fresh air now. How are you going to put this in our plan?
That was a great segue. I like that.
Yeah.
I know I'm making notes too with everybody's ideas, and it sounds amazing. Now I'm like, yes, I want to do that and that and that and that. And how am I going to do all that? So the one thing we are planning now is we're having another drive-through to sanitize it. And we're looking for a location. I'm working with someone tentatively in Mokina, and with the help of Melissa. So what we do is we offer a drive-through sanitize it, where you pull up your car and you can step out. We're social distancing. We treat your car. It's very quick, and it kills the viruses, bacteria, and removes those odors, if you know what I mean. And so we're offering it for first responders free and frontline employees free. And then otherwise it's $20, which is still $40 usually, but half off. It's one of those things that we kind of came up with, that it's that your mobile office, and you know, it's you take care of your home, you take care of your office. It's kind of a good middle ground that people don't really think about or have the opportunity. It's a real easy way to get out of your house, pull up, it's safe. Opportunity for somebody to be introduced to a new business. If they want to host it, then they can see, and it's still social safe distancing. So that's kind of like what we've been doing, trying to reach out and just offer our services, even though it's unique. Like, how do we say thank you, and to who, which would be the first responders and frontliners. And it was kind of nice that we've done 3 so far. We have 2 more scheduled. And the one time this woman came out, and she was 82 years old, and she looked amazing. I was like, please give me your recipe, because you do not look 82. And she just said, I saw it on Facebook. I'm like, you're on Facebook? That's awesome. And she's like, I just wanted to get out of the house. And it was kind of a nice way to jot out. So,
well, we'll take that idea too, and we're going to walk out with a plan here. So Maureen, you kind of got switched around. So now you're on this side of my screen, but I wanted to give you an opportunity as well.
Well, we as a company haven't actually started anything, but I personally, I have a relative in Frankfurt Terrace. And so I've been treating the staff, you know, sending in cookies and popcorn, because they've been doing a good job taking care of the residents, and they have not had any positive COVID yet. So, which is phenomenal for a nursing home.
That is.
And I've also just been donating, you know, to different groups, not a ton of money, again, but a little bit, goes to, several people. Getting the sign, thanking the first responders, because that money was going to feed first responders, things like that.
Well, maybe when we get together and put our plan at the end of the day, we'll take care of, make sure we get to Frankfurt Terrace there. So Brian, tell us a little bit about what you're doing. You're out in our neck of the woods, so share what your ideas are.
Hey, Gwen. Yeah, so this is awesome that you're doing this. So for those that don't know, Gwen and I are like neighbors and competitors, I guess. Like we're a stone's throw away. I'm literally in her old office.
That's
and,
right.
I find myself soaking up some of this knowledge as well. So thank you for doing this. So I really like a lot of these ideas. One of the things that we've been doing, it's kind of a smaller, more of a micro thing, but what we call gas phone calls, which stands for give a shit. So as you guys, as I just said, I'm also an attorney as well as Gwen. But it's wonderful because I often, when I was introducing this to my team, I said, do you remember the last time that your doctor's office called just to ask how you were doing? Or when somebody called just to say, how are you doing? We consider ourselves like professional problem solvers. And it's, yeah, like when I can't fix an apartment building. I am limited in a lot of skills. Some probably say I don't even do those well, but what we do know is we do know people. We have a lot of former clients that do different things, and we can connect people and we can listen and say, what kind of problems do you have? And then even if it's not something we can do, just being there and saying, hey, how are you? Goes an incredible way. When we first started doing this, a lot of our clients, as you could imagine, were almost like, well, what is this about? Like, are you trying to like sell me something? Like,
Charging
no,
me
no,
for this?
yeah, exactly. And am I getting a bill? What is this about? And it's like, no, we're just calling to see how you're doing. There's a lot going on. Is there something that's going on that we could take off your plate? And what do you mean? Like, no, I'm good. And it's like, no, not just, court and everything like that. You moved, you got anything else going on? And just taking up the phone and asking your clients or your customers, like, even if they're not current customers, like we're calling former clients and things like that. What's going on? How are you doing? And you'd be amazed with, how you can really brighten somebody's day by doing that. So
That's a great idea. And, we're part of the chambers here, maybe as chamber members, and maybe, Melissa and Felicitas and everybody else on here and Emily, maybe we could do a phone tag line, because there's got to be chamber members out there that are really hurting and nobody's called them to say, maybe we need to do a gas call to all of them. Maybe we could add that into the formula as well. So that's another great idea. Hey, Nancy, tell us a little bit about what you're doing and give us some ideas.
Well, I'm going to give you two perspectives. One is the Village of New Lenox, and this is kind of what Felicitas said. We are working with our restaurants on the outdoor dining provisions, and I know our mayor is working on getting a fast track, if you will, set up for them, so they don't need permits to be able. They don't have an outdoor dining facility, so I think that's a positive thing. We've also posted on our Facebook page a checklist from the International Council of Shopping Centers, how retailers and restaurants can reopen. So they kind of check all those boxes and make sure they're ready. From a personal perspective, Patrice, I wanted to offer this to you. If you want a contact at Silver Cross Hospital, let those first responders or healthcare workers know about your opportunity. I'm happy to share that with you. One group we haven't talked about are high school graduates, and so many of them missed out on proms and graduations and are hurting, even though there were certainly accommodations made for them. But I'm going to give credit where it's due to Kelly Garver, because the Lincoln Way Area Business Women's Organization, their primary fundraiser is raising money for scholarships. And when we couldn't have personal interviews, it was Kelly that said, why don't you do Zoom interviews? So that's literally what the scholarship committee did. And we're giving away $17,000 of scholarships. We're hoping that we can meet these young ladies and give them their envelope, if you will, but at least the process didn't stop like a lot of other things did for them. Two other things I thought I would mention. And it was kind of what Maureen said, you know, for those of us who've been blessed to be paid, who've been working full time and are paid the same, you know, haven't lost a salary, you know, there's the animal shelters like Naws and Mokina to donate to, as well as the food banks, because I know the New Lenox Township Food Bank, on their website, it says for every dollar they get, they can buy $8 worth of food for someone through the Northern Illinois Food Bank. And I think huge, just, you know, just a lot of, I think people would give more if they knew that. So anyway, those are my my contributions.
Those are great ideas. So I know, because Kelly Garver is part of our group and she's taking notes, and we're going to come out of here with a great plan. Because I have to tell you, I knew that the greatest minds would get on here and we'd walk out with a plan of what we're going to do as a community. So what a community table sharing. Anna, tell us a little bit about where you're at and what's going on.
Thanks, Gwen. Of course, I'm in the healthcare industry with the health insurance, which is the biggest one that's under siege right now. There's so many companies that, you know, have furloughed or they're unemployed or a part-time, and they just really don't know what to do. So right now I'm concentrating on working with a lot of these companies. And as I think it was Brian had said, just calling them up and saying, you know, how can I help? And because some of them are telling me, well, by the end of June, I won't be in business. So how can I help you? How can I help your employees? And what can we do? Because, you know, they don't know what their options are as far as health care, health insurance. You have people that are aging in at 65. They don't want to go outside. They don't know what to do. So I'm trying to work with, you know, as many people as possible and try to educate them what's out there. And so they are not afraid, you know, to make a decision. That's the biggest thing. I think not making a decision and just prolonging that is worse than trying to find out some information and making a decision and moving forward, because we really don't know what the new normal is going to be. The other thing too is, I think a number of people mentioned, it might have been Brian as well, when you mentioned as far as contractors. Our family owns apartment buildings too, so I work with a lot of contractors, and that was the other thing, is like referring them out. You know, maybe this person can use you, maybe this other person can use you. And you know, just checking in with people, the elderly, neighbors. I think one of the areas that people are forgetting about is there are a lot of individuals out there that they aren't elderly, but they're by themselves. And it's really become an issue. I know for myself and a number of other individuals, we're working at home. We've been home for almost 4 months. And during the day, you know, we're so used to that touch factor or talking to someone or seeing someone that our days are filled if we're still working at home, which I am. So you're working like later hours, but then at night, there's no touch, there's no communication, there's nothing. So one of the things that I'm striving to do is trying to call or send a card or do something just to know that, you know, I am out here, you know, or you're still loved, you're still cared for, even though you're by yourself. So that's really an important area that I think we're missing in some instances. So
very good. Yeah, good ideas. So Melissa, I know you're doing a lot at the chamber. Tell us a little bit about what Mokina is doing.
Hi. So I think, like everyone, we are trying to band our chambers together to be stronger, because where most of us are just one-man teams. Maybe we have staff, but they're part-timers. But at the end of the day, they're all looking to the executive directors for the answers. So we've already had a good working relationship, all of us, but we've gotten stronger. Instead of us meeting quarterly, now we're Zooming almost every other week, where phone calls and texts basically daily. So that's been really good to pool resources, because all of us are just trying to figure this out and figure out what is best for the members. And if one of us finds something that seems to be working, we share the ideas with the group, or we bounce ideas off of each other. So it's been good getting even closer with each other and working together. But having said that, of course, we're trying to move everything virtually. And the big idea that I'm trying to work on, as soon as we get into phase 3, I just need things to settle down for a little bit. But for about a year now, I've had an idea of something. And ironically, the reason I have never been able to pull it off is because I've never had the venue to hold it at. So with this new virtual world, now that the venue isn't the issue, I'm good to go. So my idea is that I want to get all of the nonprofits in my chamber. And I originally just wanted to do my chamber because I knew the venue situation was going to be an issue. Because the bigger you get, then you're kind of getting into having to rent something. And I have really no budget for this because I don't want to charge for it. But if we do it virtually, there's no reason we couldn't put it out there to all the chambers. But I wanted to get all of my nonprofits together to share, because I had something come up last year. I was with one of my nonprofits and they were saying that they had this that they wanted to donate because they didn't need it, yet they needed that and they didn't know how to get it. And then about a couple of days later, I happened to be at another nonprofit and they said that they needed something that I knew the original one that I talked to said that they needed. And I thought, they're not connected. They're all talking to me because they're all my members, but they're not all talking to each other. So if I can get all of them together for maybe they each talk for, let's say, 6 minutes. The first 3 minutes, you tell me about your organization, what it is that you do and what it is you're looking for. And maybe for the next 3 minutes, you tell me things that you have to offer and does anyone here need it? And it's just sort of a speed networking of nonprofits to collaborate together. And now that we all know how to do the virtual world, now this is perfect. I mean, imagine every little box here being a nonprofit and we can all just share ideas and say, I have a resale store and I have an abundance of clothes that aren't selling. And now we're on to the next season and I got to get these winter coats out of here because I need space for shorts. And then I have another nonprofit who says, we help with a women's shelter and we need clothes. We need this, we need that. Get everybody together. And if regular members want to join in, that's fine too, because then I had another member that joined around this exact same time, and they do they're a distributor for Dunkin' Donuts. And they said when they know they're starting to get close to the product, maybe starting to expire, it's not there yet, but let's say they have, sugars that are getting close and they know they're not going to get through all this. They said, we want to donate it somewhere, but we don't know exactly where. I mean, of course, you can always do food pantries, but they wanted to know if there was something smaller, a smaller organization that would need that. So even regular members, they're not a nonprofit, but regular members can still jump in and get ideas and figure out ways. And I mean, this could be, especially now with the way times are, this could be a really good way for businesses, for nonprofits, to kind of do a soft sell pitch as far as what they are going to need, be it donations or, or monetary donations. So that's something I want to focus on once we kind of get past through all this day-to-day stuff, which is taking up all of our time, and the other executive directors would agree with me, this day-to-day kind of putting out fires stuff is just keeping us so busy. But I think once things settle down, that's going to be a big goal of mine. So hopefully you'll all join in on that as well. And the first one will be a big success.
Well, we have a couple more people, and I think that what we're seeing is we're trying to pull together a community table, and we're trying to make it a little differently. So if we can walk out of that and emerge today as the leaders to do this and take that first step, that's what our objective is. So Jamie, how are you? Tell us a little bit about your ideas.
Hey, Gwen, thanks for putting all this together. I am with the Conservation Foundation, and we are a nonprofit, and our focus is obviously in environmental issues, land, water, all of that. We were supposed to have our biggest fundraiser of the year, our huge dinner gala in April, which obviously wasn't going to happen. So our advancement team was able to put together an online version of our benefit dinner, and we were actually able to make almost as much as we would have made in person.
That's great.
So we sold virtual tickets, and you had the option when you purchased a virtual ticket that we would give you a gift certificate to a local restaurant that had been donated to us. So, $25 gift certificate. So, you couldn't come join together with us to have a meal. So we'll give you one to have whenever you have a chance. So I think that went over real well. It also helped that our silent auction had already been online. So people were already used to seeing our online silent auction type stuff going. So we just held it anyway. And rather than limiting it to a couple of hours, we left it go for a whole week. So people were able to bid on items, and then we figured out how to get them delivered or shipped or whatever to people at the end of the event. So it was really nice to be able to make sure that we have the capital we need for the rest of the year to keep going.
Yeah, I think that virtual platform is so important. It's what we're all learning to do. So Emily, you're always an inspiration at the end here. So,
you know, there's just so many good ideas that I love everything that everyone's saying. I've been thinking a lot about, because a lot of things that we get asked, or I get asked a lot, is how my business, I want to partner with other local businesses. I want to do something, but I want to partner with them. I need more help. And I loved when you said the words like remote date night. That just kind of like clicked in my head, and I started like making this gigantic list of stuff about things like people could do for like curbside things, because the way people are going to do business is going to change. There's going to be a ton of people that want to go sit outside and eat at a restaurant, but there's going to be a bunch that are not there yet. They're just not. So like remote date night, a restaurant partners with a boutique and like a treat shop of some kind, like Raffi's or Nothing But Cakes, and they put together a basket together and they sell it together, like via one spot. And I saw a lot of this happening like around Mother's Day and things like that people were kind of partnering, but expand on that, do it more, like a brunch box, a happy hour at home box, a self-care kind of thing. Retail shops can do like mystery bags, like they have all this product they've been sitting on that's like seasons are fading out. Like, here you go, trunk shopping instead of like kind of like Nordstrom's does, or what's the other one? Trunk Club. Like maybe the boutiques, like maybe Moody Blues or One Happy Girl, maybe they do trunks and they'll give you like, here's a box of things that we think you might like. Take it home, check it out, and then bring it back to us. If whatever you don't like, you don't keep. You keep what you like and you pay for that. There's like a subscription service. I don't know. Thinking about different ways.
A new way of doing business. You're right.
Different ways that people can try to move the product that they're sitting on, because I mean, these poor boutiques have been like hawking a candle. That's not moving their products. I don't know, virtual workout packages. Like maybe the local like boutique gyms are partnering with the nutrition people and the essential oils people, and they're selling like, well, you know, if you buy these 3 online workouts with us, you also get like a thing of protein. I don't know, just ways that they can help market each other. Or you get a gift card from somewhere, or if we do a drive-through food drive, everyone who donates something at the food drive gets in exchange, they get like a coupon or a small gift card to a local business. Even if it's like something like real simple, like you get a free ice cream cone at Ranch Frosty, or you get like a free like $5 off of your next order at Country Charm. Like, I don't know, like something small, but they still get it. And that's an incentive to go to, one, donate to benefit something. And then second, to go support a small business. I don't know.
Kelly, do you have people you need to call in that are on phone?
Yeah, just 1 second before, to piggyback off of what Emily said, actually Patrice had messaged me and had a great idea. So first of all, if anybody on here has the space that you could potentially host one of her drive-through sanitation things, that would be a good way to get people even on your lot. But she suggested even doing, if you have people come out, have them bring some canned goods while they're getting their car cleaned. So you can clean your pantry and clean your car. So it's a really great idea.
Unless you ate all your quarantine snacks.
And there's that too.
All right.
I also have, I know Samantha's on, and then we also have Angela and Griselda. So why don't we go ahead and Samantha, what do you have any ideas for us?
So I kind of thought I was looking at you not calling on me. Honestly, we've been fortunate enough where we've been open this entire time. So we've been spending a lot of that time figuring out what we can do. We also are a very, very, very small business, so we can't do very, very much, but we've been doing everything we can to try and go out to eat at least once or twice a week for the local restaurants. Not that it's pouring money into their pockets or anything, but we're making sure we're tagging them and posting it on social media and stuff like that, trying to do the best that we can to get at least some help towards them. Right now we're playing around with the idea of taking some of the PPP loan that we got and donating that back to a lot of the businesses. I'm trying to make a list of who's hurt the most, which of course is not an easy thing to do, but you know, if I say who's struggling, there's about 100 B's, but so I'm trying to prioritize as best as I can with that. On the personal side of things, I'm doing as much volunteering as I can, I guess is the best way. Got hooked up with the Mokina Strong so I can try to help with that kind of stuff. Begging Melissa to let me help her with things so that I feel good for the day. You know, silly ideas like that. But it's kind of the only thing I can come up with so far, I guess, without everybody else telling me, hey, you should help with this.
Very good. So we're going to get close to wrapping up. We have two other people, Kelly, before you give us a close and kind of bring us all together.
Sure. Griselda, if you're able.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So my name is Griselda. I'm with the Crisis Center for South Suburbia, which is a domestic violence agency out of Tinley Park. I'm sure maybe some of you guys are familiar with us. So we do rely heavily on the community, and it can be simple things, of course, financial, but it can be simple as donating meals for the night, household items, like somebody said, resale shop. We have our resale shop that had to be shut down due to what's going on. And so, but we are still taking donations. Our victims that are housed daily do rely on donations. Also our Facebook page, if everybody could just like follow our Facebook page, because we do update daily what our needs are and how people can help. So, and even if you can't help, you can share, and of course spread the word on the services we do offer. Like a lot of people aren't aware that we exist or that we do offer free services for victims of domestic violence. So if everybody could follow and share, that would really be grateful to spread the word.
Okay, thank you. We had one other, Kelly?
Yeah, we have an Angela Wilson. I think she's muted. I don't know if she's on the phone.
I'm sorry.
That's
Can you hear
okay.
me?
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. I am Angela Wilson. I'm a new assistant property manager here at Hanover Place. We are in Tinley Park as well. And so right now, you know, the population that we serve are 55 and up. It's an independent senior living community. And a lot of our people are moving out. And so we're struggling to keep our vacancies filled right now. And so I thought this would be a good webinar, something I can piggyback on for resident retention, as far as anything that our current residents can benefit from, and anything to bring in new potential residents here as well. So I kind of joined in a little late. I was working on something else. I'm so sorry. So I kind of missed everything else.
Well, that's okay. I think Kelly's going to do a summary for us. Have we touched on everybody? Because we want to give everybody an opportunity to participate, because it's our belief that that's the way we really are the community. It's not about what we have to say. It's about what all of us can bring together to the table. So Kelly, wrap us up. What are we going to do as a result? Look at all these ideas today.
Yeah, so I thank you, everybody. Everybody had some great ideas, and as I think those of you who joined in the last call have heard me talk before, it just makes me grateful to live in a community where we have so many people that do pitch together. So I did record this program, and what I'm asking too is that we kind of do come together. I know Gwen at the beginning of this conversation talked about, you know, different ways through social media, for example. You know, a lot of us have been through networking events, and again, like Melissa said, I talked to somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody. Go on and engage with each other's stuff, because just because it might not be a product or service that you know, one of your friends might be really crafty and making something that they can donate to the library, or just, you know, share each other's stuff, because we've all got a wealth of information that we just need to get out there to our communities. Yeah. So if you think of anything, you know, feel free to reach out to us or Gwen or myself at the firm. You know, we're on Facebook. We've been doing daily uplifting, trying to do a post and a video every week. So one, if you want to get on and do a video recording and Zoom and talk about some ideas or products that you have, reach out. We love to set up some time and just have a little bit of one-on-one conversation. One, it's going to get your message out there. Two, it's a little bit of marketing for yourself too. And then, or if you don't like to be on video and you prefer to do some writing, send me over a blog. We'll do some cross promoting for you. We put it on our website, and then, you know, let our clients know. We send out emails. At the end of the day, it is about resources. It's about helping each other connect with each other. So, you know, if you think of anything later on or tomorrow, just shoot it our way and we'll share it. I'm going to push this video out again. So please feel free to share it on your own page, tag yourself, and just, you know, let's just keep coming together to do together.
All right, so I'm going to wrap it up. Here's the deal. We got some great ideas, and we're going to put all these ideas together, and we're going to call our little group the community table. We're going to reach out to the chambers to kind of help us. I don't know if you're willing, but we certainly want to do it, that all of us can come together, and then we can take the ideas today that everybody brought to the table, and we can implement them. And just think about it. If we all spend an hour doing that, what we can gain and what we can give to everybody out there. We're going to write cards. We're going to get some artwork from the children. We're going to put it together. So thanks for all your ideas. Ron's going to go out there, take a picture of the drone. We're going to do a great event, and we're going to be that community table, right? Because I think that's what we wanted at the end of the day by doing this. This is not about one of us. It's about all of us together being part of our community and moving forward. So we'll be in contact, especially, and we're going to ask the chambers to kind of promote that out. And then everybody had such great ideas today. I really enjoyed myself, and I learned so much from all of you. So thanks. You gave your time today, the most valuable thing you have, to us so that we can then say, here, we're going to come together as a community. So thanks so much, everybody, for the time that you gave and the ideas.
Thank you, Gwen, for hosting us. Thank you.
No problem. All right. Have a great day. We'll see you again soon on Zoom.
Okay.
On Zoom. That's our logo.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.